Oh my Jesus.
Yo! 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 Okay,
First of all,
we're gonna say this first.
Wait. It is 12:50 a.m.
Whatever. We're gonna say this first. This episode of our review is going to contain a very huge spoiler. Spoiler warnings for the big holy shit moment in this episode. We don't normally do that because the revelations aren't so huge and momentous like this one. But this time, I'm warning you now. 3, 2, 1, 0. Spoiler warnings for this episode. This is Chloe Baggins. I'm Bushido. Yes, Bushido. Mr. Bushido. To all of you, let's skip the bullshit and talk exactly about this most epic episode that we have seen yet of WandaVision. Episode 5. Episode 5. Take it away. Go. Okay, the first part that we need to talk about, okay? I'm going to calm down. I'm a little bit emotional, okay? I'm hot. I'm kind of sweaty.
Kind of bothered.
I'm going to calm down. I'm going to bring it down a few notches.
Who's
Woosah. Okay? Woosah. Okay. Now,
I'm crying.
let's talk about, before we get into everything, this episode shifts to the 80s, right?
1980s.
The 1980s. And the 1980s are the many things that are iconic in the 1980s are TV sitcoms. Now, we were born in 1982.
Yes.
We are part of the chosen generation because we experienced all these wonderful shows.
Anyways, so the intro starts off with a very family ties, growing pains.
Oh man, it was
House,
80s, like 80s bliss. Like, you know, the TV sitcoms from the 80s always started out with their own like fully produced theme song.
Yeah, it was really nostalgic.
That shows nowadays they don't have.
No.
You know, like it goes to the whole montage thing with like the characters, the family doing their thing, showing baby photos.
Baby pictures.
So for those of you who did not grow up in the 80s, if you look up, like, say, the intro to Michael J. Fox's Family Ties, I think that's what they were really paying homage to with their own...
I think it was Growing Pains also.
Yeah, both of them, because they had the painting of the characters.
I think it was a tie between the two, because the song really sounded like the Growing Pains with...
Wonderfully done.
Vick.
Fantastically done. It took us back because... Hey, we grew up.
Some of our favorite shows.
Grew up in the best times. Y'all who didn't make it, y'all missed out. I'm sorry.
Can we just talk about, though, how much Wanda in this episode looked like her older sisters in Fuller House? She's like a grown-up Michelle.
And she even had like the wild, crazy 80s hair. Yep.
Yeah, it's like a grown-up Michelle.
Michelle Tanner.
Yeah. So anyway...
So aside from all that,
the
80s stuff, like the intro, the setting, perfectly done. Yeah.
It was
the house, the clothing, even like...
It's the same house, just it's decorated in that style of these 80s.
Of the 80s, like the houses we grew up in look like that. Fantastic. Whoever's in charge of like production design, they're nailing it.
Yeah, they missed the wood panel walls though.
Nah, it's okay. It's okay. This episode makes up for that. So aside from all that, let's talk about when shit gets serious. And I mean shit got serious the moment the pleasant 1980s intro ended. We're back in reality.
So the twins are crying their asses off.
Yeah.
And Agnes suddenly appears
out of nowhere
to offer to help them in her awesome aerobics attire.
I know.
Oh my god.
For jazzercise.
Yeah. My mom wore outfits just like that.
Oh man.
Anyway, so the twins miraculously stop crying. And all of a sudden, they're like 5-6 years old.
Like the moment they turned their heads, and Vision is like, what the hell? Right?
And what's even more weird is that Agnes doesn't even lose a beat. She just like it's normal for her and she expected it.
Yeah, and another interesting thing too, when the babies, when they were still infants and they were crying, Wanda tried to use her powers to make them stop crying, and they wouldn't. Even Wanda was like, well, why isn't this working? The kids are immune to the Scarlet Witch's powers. That's, I think, what that's trying to say.
And as it switches out of Westview.
Yeah, 1980s Westview.
1980s Westview. It brings us into 2021 outside.
Yeah, we're back in the sword facility.
Yes, in current times. And they are talking about how they believe Wanda is controlling everybody. And they also talk about how everybody in there is real. So basically she has these twins, but she's just manipulating them to that time frame.
So it makes you think, if the twins are real, who is the father? Because another thing they confirmed, which we hypothesized in our last... Well,
you did.
We'll take both credit for it. In the last episode, we hypothesized that clearly Vision is dead. Okay, that did not change. He did not come back with the Hulk's snap. So where is this body coming from? It is confirmed Wanda straight up stormed the sword facility and literally walked in on the scientists taking apart Vision's body. He was like splattered all over like the operating tables, and she just takes his body.
But they also say that it was 9 days prior to today's current.
Exactly.
So this is only a week and a half.
This is very recent, but it's clear she is literally like puppeteering Vision's corpse. Somehow, because even Vision is like, he knows when things aren't right. He's not affected by Wanda's mind manipulation. He's like, why are things changing? Why do you do this? Are you controlling everybody?
And
right?
She admits that she's not.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Is she?
Yeah, she's like, you mean to tell me that I'm getting everyone to their dentist appointment, I'm making them mow their lawns, I'm making them go to school, blah, blah, blah.
I think it's Agnes. And I think Agnes is part of Hydra. That's why the Hydra commercials, with the new towel, they didn't say anything about Hydra, but the Lagos towels. And I'm sorry, my nerd mainframe is failing me. What is Lagos from? Somebody comment down below. Maybe they took the spelling backwards.
I don't know.
What is
it's got to be something. I don't know. Somebody comment down below what Lagos is. So this episode was nowhere near an 80s sitcom in mood and atmosphere. This shit was serious. And so Monica Rambeau flies a drone into Westview and is literally communicating with Wanda through the drone. And you see Wanda's eyes turn all Scarlet Witch, and you're like, oh man, she's going to vaporize everybody.
Let's reiterate and refresh everyone's memory. They have not called her Scarlet Witch.
Yes, that's another thing.
All.
Never, because...
she's always been Wanda.
Yeah, because when they were doing the debriefing and Jimmy Woo, right, was there, and he was telling the history of Wanda. The main guy was so she doesn't have a nickname, she doesn't have an alias, like Steve Rogers, Captain America, Tony Stark, Iron Man. He's like, no, they've always called her Wanda Maximoff. Hinting... probably this is how she gets her namesake of the Scarlet Witch. Because if you notice, all her powers are red.
Red.
And we gotta talk about when the shit got serious. Wanda was not messing around. She took her earrings off, took her high heels off, she started clapping her hands. And you know when a woman claps her hands when she starts talking?
She's getting Latina.
Y'all are gonna die. Y'all are gonna die. And... y'all are gonna die. Wanda walks out of the barrier. She doesn't just walk out. She's dragging the drone, but she is suited up. She's suited up in her Civil War and Endgame Infinity War Avengers suit. And I was like, whoa.
How?
Whoa.
One more time.
Whoa. I was like, you didn't walk out in your 1980s mom getup. You walked out suited up, ready to go.
Like she was ready to kill some...
like she's going to vaporize everybody pointing guns at her. right? With a snap of her fingers. Darcy said, this is the same woman that nearly took out Thanos single-handedly.
Had he not
called in an airstrike.
Yep.
So the best idea is to point guns at this woman. See? That's why women clap their hands.
They're counting down to the
Okay, when they
3,
do
2,
this,
1.
brothers who are watching, when your woman goes like this, she's about to Wanda Maximoff your ass. Okay?
Hashtag Wanda Maximoff.
She's going to Wanda Maximoff your ass, and you're going to be sorry. Don't say Bushido didn't warn you, because he did. She walked out of that barrier ready to throw down with everybody.
But from her point of view, you have to think about it. If someone was...
Yeah.
She wasn't hurting anybody.
That drone practically shot a missile at her and her kids.
She even said, like, she's mama bearing for sure.
So she said, this is your only warning. You pull this shit again, and there's not even going to be a fan high enough for the shit to hit. Y'all are going to be vaporized because you know she could do it. She almost killed Thanos. What is she going to do with a bunch of federal agents?
Oh, like, it's like the...
Man!
What did you say? She went Magneto on them.
That's another thing. If you know, and I don't know if it's just me pulling a reference from the X-Men movies when the very first X-Men movie back in 2000, Sir Ian McKellen was Magneto. It was our first X-Men movie. And all the police have their guns pointed at Magneto, Sabretooth, and everybody. He uses his powers, and he turns the guns on everybody, right? Turns the guns on everybody. Wanda Maximoff, like, flipped her hand and controlled all the agents at once who were pointing guns at her and had them point guns at the lead guy as she's walking away.
So for those of you that don't know, who just started watching... Wanda and her brother Pietro
in the comics
and the cartoon are Magneto's children.
Yes.
So this is kind of where it's like she's starting to pull these incredible powers and she's discovering them real fast.
And they clearly said too in SOAR debriefing that Wanda is not aware of how crazy her powers are.
But everyone else
they're on a different level of everybody else they've ever observed from the Avengers or otherworldly beings. Wanda is something else. So in the comic books and the animated series you all grew up with, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are Magneto's genetic children. So I don't know if that was, you know, an homage to what Magneto did in the first X-Men movie, but I picked up on it like this. I was like, Magneto!
How?
Magneto! That's what I said when we were watching. I'm like, that's a Magneto move.
Yeah, you did.
That's a Magneto move. Like, that's too, like, on the sleeve, man. Like, that's so obvious.
But here's also another thing. I think it was intentional because there are so many things. These scripts are very well written.
We haven't even gotten to the holy shit part yet. Exactly. We're going to get to it right now.
Wait.
Not yet.
Because let's also acknowledge how Captain Rambeau got annoyed and rolled her eyes when they mentioned...
When Darcy mentioned, or Jimmy Woo mentioned Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, and she's like...
She didn't want to talk about it.
She didn't want to talk about it. So what happens in Captain Marvel 2?
Yeah, we're like...
So yeah...
You don't want to talk about your hero? This is your hero. This is your mom's bestie. Remember? You helped pick the colors of her suit. Remember when you were a kid? You don't want to talk about Captain Marvel? And it's like, what did she do? That's how it is.
Anyway, let's talk about the oh shit moment.
Okay, again, I'm going to tell y'all spoilers in 3, 2, 1, go. The big holy shit moment of this episode is
Quicksilver, Pietro knocks on the door and we screamed bloody murder.
And it's not just Pietro.
It is Quicksilver from the X-Men.
Oh my God. At first, she opens the door and it's a shot from the back, and you see the gray hair. I'm like, it's Quicksilver. It's totally Quicksilver. But then it pans back more. He's wearing a leather coat or jacket, leather jacket, and you're like, wait a minute, that's X-Men Quicksilver, and boom, it's X-Men Quicksilver. Oh my God! My God!
I think the last time we screamed like this.
Oh my God!
In Marvel was when
Cap picked up Mjolnir.
Also, when he says Avengers.
Oh, Avengers Assemble. Yeah, everybody just lost their shit.
Yeah, we lost our shit then too, but yeah.
Yo! Like, do you know what that means? Quicksilver was like, oh, hey, what, no love for your long-lost brother?
And then Darcy goes, oh my God, did she recast Pietro?
And it's like, oh, we're getting some Deadpool territory now. Because now we're playing with the fourth wall here, saying, hey, we literally did recast Pietro in the MCU.
Because they did. But what's even cooler is that they're acknowledging it. So the Quicksilver that was in Age of Ultron and he dies. And now there's Quicksilver who's been in the X-Men universe. It's like, holy shit.
It's happening. Like, it's happening.
X-Men in the MCU.
It's happening. This is like the melding, the first melding of the universes. Like Kevin Feige. Like, what like celestial Pacololo are you smoking, bro?
Whatever it is, keep smoking.
Oh my God. Like, so you got to think, it's not just Quicksilver that's the holy shit moment. It's everything that comes with Quicksilver as a package. Quicksilver in the last X-Men movie clearly says, he knows Magneto, played by Michael Fassbender, is my father. Now this Quicksilver, the same Quicksilver is in the MCU. So if holding everything constant goes the way it should, that Magneto is going to come along with him.
I sure hope so, because Michael Fassbender is fantastic.
Yeah, I can't take this, man. Like,
does that mean that they're going to bring back the only Wolverine?
That means if Quicksilver's coming, you can only hope the entire X-Men universe is going to come along, because Deadpool is already confirmed.
Oh yeah. Well, that was like the first
man.
nod. So yeah.
We're
losing our freaking minds. It's almost 1:00 in the morning here, Pacific time.
God. Like,
but I'm not gonna be able to sleep.
This is insanity, man. Like, they're pulling it off. They're pulling it off again.
I wondered how they were going to bring X-Men into the MCU.
So the big mystery now is, how did Wanda tap into that parallel universe where that Quicksilver is alive, and how did she bring him over into the MCU timeline?
Or did she?
I mean, who else is going to have that kind of power? You know what I mean? Like, Doctor Strange clearly can go to multiple timelines and multiverses and see what'll happen. We saw that in Infinity War, right? Yeah, and so can Wanda do the same thing? Did she subconsciously want her brother back? Because it says in the episode she can't bring the dead back, at least living tissue back to life, right? She can bring a robot back to life, but not a human being. So maybe in her subconscious, wanting her brother to come back, because they've mentioned him so many times leading up to this moment, she brought the other Quicksilver into the equation. And he's just so nonchalant, like, hey, what's up, sis? No love for your long lost bro?
They never showed a Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff in X-Men.
Yeah. If you remember the movie when that Quicksilver was introduced, his version of Wanda was still like a toddler in the playpen. So why the hell not? They're doing it.
I really liked this Quicksilver.
Yeah, everybody. I think for everyone, Quicksilver was the highlight of those X-Men movies.
He's fantastic.
So just imagine that Quicksilver with MCU level writing and special effects.
Him and Deadpool are going to be fantastic together.
It's like,
because the actor that plays Quicksilver, Evan, is from American Horror Story. So for those of you that have not seen it, I love American Horror Story, and I love to see him in that. So he's such a good actor, and he can play quirky, he can play funny. He has those abilities to be able to. So
I mean, that is the big moment, the big revelation, and that just unleashes a tsunami of other possibilities of what
Questions.
what we were hypothesizing last week. Last week was like, oh, it's Wanda, and she's grieving and she's having a hard time. Now it's like it's
Yes,
a whole,
she is grieving.
She is grieving. Now it's a whole new universe slowly tiptoeing into the MCU we all know and love. They're doing it. He's pulling it off again. People thought they couldn't pull off Endgame. Boom, pull off Endgame. People thought, oh, we can't bring the X-Men into the Marvel. It's not going to work. Boom, it worked. What would you rate this episode?
If I could go higher than a 10 out of 10 Baggins, I would. This answered so many more questions than last week.
And
I thought last week was good.
New ones.
Yeah, like, I am excited. Like, I get that people were just like, oh, this is very... Yes, it started off slow.
I bet y'all feel even worse now.
But it started
saying,
off
oh,
good.
it's so boring. Why are they doing it this way? And look now. Everybody's having a collective nerdgasm all with each other together in the same room.
Anyway, I was talking, don't be rude.
Sorry.
What was I saying? Oh, yes, it was slow in the beginning. I absolutely agree. And it was hard to get into. And it was just as devastatingly slow and short. This was almost 40 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you also for an episode that was very, very satisfying in length.
Yes, this was...
And it went by like this, too.
I know. We're totally going to have to watch this again. What would you rate this?
Like Baggins said, if I could give it a higher rating than 10, our scale only goes to 10, I would give it like a 20. This, yet again, is a very well-deserved 10 out of 10 Bagginses. This episode blew last week's episode away, and last week's episode was amazing. So it's like, we're at this stage of the journey. You know what I mean? First, it was going like this. Now we're clearly here. Okay? When that doorbell rang, I'm like, it's going to be Wolverine. It's going to be Tony Stark. It's going to be Captain America. Who knows? It's going to be somebody.
It's going to be somebody. But this one, this was a good one. This is a real good one.
Whoa. Good job, everybody. You've made Bushido proud. I'm sending out the Bushido love
Yeah, you are.
to everybody. So if you feel that feeling in your stomach,
those tingles.
that's me. That's me.
Awesome. So have you guys watched the episode yet? Tell us what you guys think. Help us figure out what Lagos is. That
Yes,
commercial.
yeah. Comment down below what Lagos is. The
towels.
towels.
It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning here, so it's past our old people bedtime.
Old people? What the hell?
I'm joking. I'm being
Young man.
sarcastic.
Young man.
You're
Strong man.
Shut the hell up. Oh my God, get over yourself.
Mountains
Anyway,
too high. I'll stop. I'm riding on a high right now of that episode.
I hate you.
I'm good. Go ahead.
So, if you could help us figure out what Lagos is, comment down below. Make sure to subscribe and hit the button so you guys get alerts to find out when we post new videos. And make sure to follow us on TikTok and Instagram.
You gotta start doing it up here.
Up here.
There we go.
Okay, there. Right there.
There you go.
Baggins and Bushido on TikTok and Instagram. I need to get better about posting that. But if you guys leave questions for any of us on any platform, we will do our best to respond.
And yeah, I'll be here. I'll be here for you.
Nobody cares about
Every
you.
day. You have a question, you have a comment, Bushido will be here for you.
Why are you touching yourself in a weird, creepy way?
So come along with us on this YouTube journey.
Stop.
What? That's what Gandalf did.
Anyway, thank you guys for coming back. And as always,
be good to yourself and to those around you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and no matter what, be excellent to each other.
and Wakanda forever.
And ever. Quicksilver's in the MCU, baby. Ah!